Good evening, afternoon or morning. Movie Cat is at the microphone, and today I will tell you about the French acute social comedy, RAID, Special Unit. Joanna sleeps and dreams about how she, being a part of a special counter-terrorist unit, is fighting terrorists. She wakes up and smashes the alarm clock against the wall in her excitement. Despite her fiancé's remark that it's only 5 a.m., Joanna starts her exercises because she wants to build muscles in order to get into the RAID Special Counter-Terrorist Police Unit. Performing swings with dumbbells in different directions, Joanna breaks a vase. Her fiancé worries that building up the muscles, Joanna may lose her femininity. Then Joanna tries to be sexy and at the same time pour coffee for her fiancé, but it falls not into the cup but on his trousers. After breakfast, Joanna goes to watch a RAID demonstration. The RAID leader, Patrick Legrand, delivers an opening speech about how his squad is an elite. They are not hotheads and killing is not their priority, because the unit's chevrons have the motto, Ultima Ratio, the last resort. Right during the speech, one of the fighters descending on the cable hits his head against the beam and hangs upside down on the safety cable. The fighter's name is Froissart, and later the doctor says he's fine. Froissart is in excellent physical shape, and 44 years old is not that old. Most likely, Froissart lost consciousness from stress or overwork. Later, the doctor recommends to Commander Legrand to suspend Froissart so that he can rest a little, because this is not the first accident that has happened to him lately. For constant bad luck, Froissart's squad call him the Damned One. However, he is a veteran and the most experienced fighter, so Legrand decides not to suspend him. Joanna is a police officer. She rides her bike to work right in the middle of the road, blocking the path for cars, while completely ignoring the bike path to her right. At the police department, the commissioner calls Joanna to the office and says that her second request to be transferred to RAID has been rejected. Joanna is outraged. The commissar wrote in her file that she had wounded a colleague at the shooting gallery. Despite the fact that this is true, she is sure the commissioner intentionally drowns her. While on patrol, she finds a jeep parked in her own place. At first, she tries to take fingerprints from the car, and when the owner of the car arrives, Joanna runs his hand behind his back. Suddenly, on the radio, all posts receive a signal about a bank robbery which is located just across the street from the place where Joanna is standing. At the bank entrance, she sees people dressed in the collector's uniform, and they run away with full bags. Joanna helps them quickly get into the van and drive away. Then, she punches the bank manager in his face. At the crime scene, Joanna finds a gun that was lost by one of the robbers. With a ballpoint pen, she tries to put the weapon into the bag so that the fingerprints are preserved on it, and when she fails, she simply takes it with her hand. The weapon immediately fires, and the bullet only miraculously does not kill any of the bank employees. The commissioner for such work at the crime scene removes Joanna from the police. In the evening, Joanna has dinner with her fiancé and his parents, very rich and influential people. A little late, her father, the Minister of the Interior of France, also arrives. Joanna immediately jumps up from the table and starts beating her father's bodyguard under the pretext of testing his reaction. At the table, Joanna talks about one more refusal from the RAID, about being suspended from the police, and about her decision to join the Foreign Legion. Her groom and her father are horrified. The next morning, the minister comes to Commander Legrand's office and asks to take his daughter to RAID, due to the fact Joanna's personal file is the worst that Legrand has ever seen. The minister has to not only ask, but blackmail and even intimidate the RAID commander. Legrand agrees only when the minister asks to take his daughter, for only a while, just to be strict with her until she gets tired and finally gives up this idea. Legrand instructs Froissart to train newcomers, candidates for joining the squad, who will arrive on Monday. Joanna's fiancé drives her to the RAID base and also gives her face care cosmetics. Froissart, when he sees a woman in line, decides that she is a candidate for a barmaid or cleaner. Joanna answers him that Froissart, like all men, cannot read. Her form says that she is a candidate for admission to the assault group. Surprised, Froissart opens the folder with her personal file, which turns out to be empty. In the very corner, there is a note from Legrand with a request to call him. Froissart assures the commander that he is not a chauvinist, but women cannot be trusted. Moreover, women are all weak, and they only have equipment of 40 kilograms. Women do not know how to park, and they have long vans. Women also constantly want to pee, and their equipment does not fit for it. Legrand, having listened to the objections, orders Froissart to accept. The fact she has the same last name as the Minister of the Interior is a coincidence. She is his daughter, but that's not the point here. During training, Joanna climbs the building slower than others. She also fails cable moving. Only in the shooting range at the target she shoots accurately, but for some reason she puts all her bullets exclusively in the inguinal zone. Joanna realizes that she needs to improve her performance, so she starts getting up at dawn to train extra. Since she is the only woman in the squad, she receives a lot of attention not only from her fellow trainees, but also from the squad's current fighters. One of the instructors even offers her a Portuguese massage. When Froissart tries to forbid his colleague a Portuguese massage offering, a fight breaks out between them. At the appointment with the staff psychologist, Froissart says that all the troubles are due to women. The psychologist, in response, claims that Froissart does not really think so. It is the double betrayal influences him that much, the quid of his ex-wife to his own brother. After a while, Joanna's fiancé realizes that despite everything she likes being in the squad. Then the minister calls Legrand and asks to solve the problem. However, Commander can't fire or break her. Then clever Legrand entrusts Joanna with the protection of the French Republic president, hoping that this task will seem so boring to her that she will leave the squad herself. In the very first minute of work, Joanna, putting the president into the car, hits his head hard on the roof. Joanna is then sent to a surveillance van, where a secret jihadist contact is being wiretapped. Joanna finds out on the monitor that the amplitude of the audio track is moving during conversations, and then she starts screaming, howling and yelling only for the amplitude on the monitor to change. Suddenly, the contact calls somewhere. Joanna, for some reason, presses different buttons and accidentally picks up the phone. The contact wants to order a pizza, and Froissart tells Joanna to pretend she is a pizzeria's phone operator. Later, she goes upstairs to deliver the order. Behind, the assault group covers her. To the relatively innocent question of the contact, how long have women been delivering pizza? Joanna hits him in the face. Now the squad have to arrest the contact. The minister finds out that Joanna participated in the real operation and risked her life. He orders Legrand to fire his daughter. However, the commander is fed up with the fact the minister constantly solves his family problems through him. Legrand, in order not to follow the minister's leading principle, adds Joanna to the permanent raid squad. At home, Joanna brags about the received token in front of her fiancé and father. The upset men honestly admit that it was their idea, and Raid initially took her on the orders of her father. The next day, Raid is called in to neutralize the bank robbers. Legrand, of course, does not take Joanna to assault, but instead sends her to the nearest cafe to order a drink. There, an unfamiliar man notices a Raid emblem under Joanna's jacket. Posing as Victor, a police officer, he easily learns from her that the squad is planning to storm through the basement. A man writes this information to his accomplice, who runs again in a bank. As a result, Raid still neutralizes the robbers, but since the enemy was ready, Froissart's partner is injured. At the meeting, Legrand announces the jihadist contact told where is their base situated, and the raid will storm with full team. Froissart is totally fixed his role of the damned, and no one wants to be his new partner. Only Joanna wants. During the attack, Froissart's weapon jams and Joanna, pushing him out of the fire line, shoots the jihadist in the groin. The next day, Joanna and her future mother-in-law go to pick out a wedding dress. On the street in the midst of a gay parade, Joanna recognizes Victor, a policeman who then interested in the plan of the assault in a cafe. Joanna invites him home for dinner. Victor explains that he and his partner are wearing dresses because they are undercover. Behind, TV says that two men put on dresses are wanted for a jewelry store robbery. At the table, Joanna reveals that France's gold reserves will be transported next week, and that a summit of Eastern European leaders will be held that same evening. The next day, Joanna's fiancé finally makes up his mind and cancels the engagement. He has a complex that she is taller and more muscular than he is. Also, he is not ready to put up with Joanna's desire to risk her life constantly. Joanna is greatly relieved, because in fact their union was initiated by their parents in order to make two influential families related. The day of the summit comes and the minister orders Raid to protect the gold transportation. and to entrust the summit participants' dinner protection to the Presidential Security Service. Joanna hears the speech of the Serbian president on the radio and remembers that her friend Victor speaks with exactly the same accent. Joanna understands that the gang has been receiving information from her all this time. She is sure that the bandits know how seriously the gold is guarded, so they will attack the president. Joanna, on her own risk, takes a weapon, steals a van and heads to the president's castle. There, Joanna asks all the guests to evacuate, and when this does not happen, she takes her father hostage. Heads of state hurriedly leave the castle. The Serbs are really attacking the castle because they want to kill the president of France. For their personal reasons, only known to them, Joanna and her father run from the Serbs all over the castle till raid arrives. Then the minister is evacuated, and Joanna joins the squad and shoots the Serbs exclusively in the groin. The Serbs' leader, Victor, shoots at Froissart, and at that moment Joanna runs out of bullets. Then she takes a sword and a shield and defeats Victor in a medieval duel. Joanna takes injured Froissart out of the burning castle on herself, dropping him on the stairs only once. For saving the summit members' lives, Joanna is presented with an award by the President of France himself. Joanna stumbles and drops the president to the floor. Thank you for watching. Press hearts, write any comment for my channel development, and if it also seems to you that raising such an acute social topic as women's rights and at the same time keenly drowning the main character is at least strange scenario decision, then it seems to me too. Subscribe in solidarity.